What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Creative Corner. My name is Noah.
I'm Aaron.
And I am Tyler.
Boom. And man, we want to say a big Merry Christmas. We're excited to be able to just come in. We got our Christmas sweaters on. Come on. Did your lights still work on yours?
No, I sent it through the washer.
You used to have lights that kind of went around right
Had
there.
a little battery pack on the bottom of it, and
It was
I
nice.
found out you could take it out after I washed it.
But we're here now. And man, we're pumped. And man, I'm excited about. We're talking about our top 5 albums of the year. I love talking about this because we get to debate. We get to argue, and sometimes
Always arguments. There's always a lot of agreements, and then there's always a lot of arguments.
Yeah. Agreements.
We will definitely have some arguments today.
Amen. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about our top 5 albums of this year, and we would love to go into like top 10, top 20, but we're gonna scale it back. We ain't that interesting to talk for that long, and you listen. But
Five's probably gonna be long enough.
oh yeah. But so how we're gonna do it? We're just gonna kind of go around the table and just talk about going from 5 to 1, our favorite albums, and that's pretty self-explanatory. So Tyler, kick us off. What's your number 5
I get to
for
start off?
2021?
Okay, so I want to go ahead and say that, like, because of COVID and everything, like, there's been a lot of bad things with COVID. But, like, one good thing is everybody and their grandma made music. So it's been really hard to narrow this down even to
Facts.
10, let alone these 5.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is the self-titled album by Era. One of the big things, I think we mentioned it in another podcast, is like, whenever we were going back to concerts once they started coming back, I wanted to wait for a Fit for a King one. Just so happened they were doing one with August Burns Red for their 10-year Leveler anniversary.
Yeah.
So, like, aside from that, I'd, like, heard of, like, Modest Flames, but everybody else that was on the lineup, I hadn't. So, going through, doing all this stuff, listening to the bands. If it's a band that, like, there's this website you can go look up set lists for bands. Didn't look up, like, August Burns Red, the band I knew, or the bands that I knew, but, like, the ones that I didn't, I wanted to know, like, in general, what their music was like to kind of get into them. I looked up Eras, and they had, like, a 6-song set list. First song, I was like, okay, yeah, album's downloaded. Went through the entire set list. All right, rest of their albums are downloaded. And, like, literally took the day, listened to all their stuff, but freaking... Yeah. No, Era's sick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
and y'all talked about it before that show. You're like, you have to listen to them. And it was for like 3 months. And I kept just like, that's the thing about me. I'll say that I'm going to listen to it, but then 5 other things happen and I'll just completely forget. Right. But I kept delaying it, and it got to the week before the show. I'm like, I might as well listen to them to learn. I was like, why have I not been listening to this?
Exactly.
It's great.
It's not, like, with them especially, like, their strongest points are, like, their instrumentalists. Like, the vocalist is fantastic.
They're guitar players. My God.
The drum,
Nuts.
like, studio-wise, it's, like, heavy focus on the drums, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But, like, super talented, and then live, just hearing the guitar parts, but, like, more predominant. Is
incredible.
Oh, my God.
Like, when we saw them live, they were playing, I think it was their second song. I don't even remember what song it was. But, like, both guitar players and the bass player are doing, like, something sick. And I just turn around, and Tyler's jaw is just dropped on the ground.
It's ridiculous.
He's just watching the bass player's hands. He's like, they finish the song, and he's like, how?
I give up.
Yeah.
No, it's like they were doing 2 different things. It was like both extremely difficult things, but not the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So this barely didn't make my top 5. This was number 6 for me.
Oh,
this album. So that's a little bit of a spoiler just for that. But yeah, no, that album was like
Freaking
that's so
Snowblood is
such a good song.
Oh.
The intro to Gungrave too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
I don't have a single problem with this album. I'm like I think that's like maybe 3rd album in is the self-titled one, 3rd or 4th, but like
it's so good
with the current singer.
The current singer.
They had some albums beforehand with a different.
But like, I'm so pumped for. I'm so glad whenever I discover new bands.
Yeah.
Especially if they
It's
get
so
that
good.
high on my list. For
100%. Aaron, what you got for your number 5? Chief?
My number 5 album, Lost in a Wave by Landmarks. Tyler showed us Landmarks like 2 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
With, like, one of their previous albums. And I was like, all right, they're all right. Then this album came out at the beginning of the year, and Tyler's just like, you gotta listen to it. Same situation with you,
just
with
put it
like
up.
us with Era. It's just like, whatever. Well, we were working together, and he played it through the speakers. I was like, this is really freaking good. But it was odd. Was it Visage where he like raps at
Oh
the
yeah,
beginning of it?
yeah. It's Visage, and then they got Say No Word.
Yeah. So like beginning of Visage, he's like rapping in French, and that was like, that's weird. And then it hits like,
Yeah.
it hits later on in the song, and you're just like, oh,
I told you.
Great.
I told you.
But yeah, like I have nothing bad to say about this album at all.
Yeah.
Like
they're one of those bands. Like, there's a difference if I say like I found a band on TikTok and then a TikTok band is like two
Right,
different
yeah,
things.
Oh yeah.
But like he had said, like 2 years ago, I showed him Landmarks, and like the video itself was like some other dude that's like top 5 breakdowns of the year, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And their song "Empty Place"
Yeah.
was one of them that was on there. That's absolutely disgusting breakdown.
yeah,
But like
Absolutely.
that's the one I showed him at the time. But then after that, I kind of forgot about him. Just
Yeah.
like moved on. Same dude, like a year later, is like, hey, here's the top 5 breakdowns of the year. They had dropped a single from this album late last year.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was Lost in a Wave. And then that hit, I'm like, I remember these guys. Yes! But no, that's actually a little bit higher on mine.
Oh,
But
good.
I won't say where yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little
We'll
bit
get
higher
there,
on
we'll
mine.
get there.
I love that album,
Yeah.
especially Paralyzed. And then
Yeah.
like the hook of that is like, if that dude goes any higher, his head's gonna explode.
Right, yeah.
My number 5. It's a vastly different genre.
Hey man,
Mine is Neverland 2 by Andy Mineo.
You know it's been a minute. Tell me where you been, huh? Been about it. Hey, back up off me, man. It's getting crowded. Hey, when I'm
That album is just incredible. I think out of all of the Reach Records people, you see them over time, like how much their style matures or how much it changes or goes here and there. And the cool thing that I love about Andy on this project specifically is you've seen the way that his production and his beats have like became his own style. It's like he's over time he's made it to where he's pulling in natural instruments and he's doing this and he's doing that. But then he goes more like not just rap stuff, but he does like very R&B type stuff. But then obviously it's Andy Mineo. And if you've listened to Andy Mineo, you know that he gets very, very deep with his lyrics, a lot more than a lot of guys on the Reach stuff. Or not necessarily more deep, but just you see a different perspective that I think that for me that I relate with a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit deeper for me, not everybody, but I mean, just an incredible project. And I think of like, if I was to tell someone you should listen to Andy Mineo, you've never listened to him before, I would tell them to go listen to Falling because it showcases his incredible ability to rap, his lyrical style, his cadences, all of that stuff. But then it showcases his like a little bit of his R&B and like his singing stuff that he pulls into his music. And so that whole project is just freaking nuts. And then you got songs like Been About It that's just slaps. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Definitely Neverland 2, I think, is his strongest lyrically.
Oh, 100%.
Like that's one of those, kind of like Aaron said earlier, it barely didn't make my list. I think the only thing that held it back for me, and this isn't a negative thing at all, I love the album. I don't have a problem with it. It's like, with it being a sequel to Neverland, what Neverland was when it came out, this feels so much different.
Right. If it was a totally different project rather than
think
I get that.
Whenever he announced it, it like gave me an expectation that didn't happen. With it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not
I get that.
necessarily that it was disappointing because it's still fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a lot different than what I thought it was going to be.
The concept of it is much different. Yeah, I totally get that. But yeah, it's just phenomenal project. So I love that. I love that one a ton. So I've probably listened to that album. Honestly, apart from one, I've probably listened to that album the most out of my 5, but there's other reasons why the one's above it or above it. But cool. Well, that's our 5. Number 4,
Oh,
Tyler.
snap. This better be on y'all's too. Number 4, I have Welcome to Horrorwood, Ice Nine Kills.
While we're here, it is number 4 for me as
Hey,
Nice. Nice.
Yes!
It's not on my 5. Do you honestly want to know which number it is?
No. Now that you've said that, I don't. Go ahead.
It's 11.
Okay, you don't get to talk through this one.
Yeah.
No, Welcome to Horrorwood. I 100% stand by this. Which, by the way, there's a lot on my list that's like fairly late this year, but we're gonna move on from that. No, it is 100% so much better than.
It's a great
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
It's
I
a great
love
album.
it.
Yeah.
So like the reason why I say that is like Silver Scream 1 is fantastic, but Silver Scream 1 sounded like Ice Nine Kills was making songs about these movies.
Yeah.
Welcome to Horrorwood is like these songs should be in the movie.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Like it's two completely different things and they work, but this one
Yeah.
is like they put so much more effort into the songs.
Yeah,
to
and for
make it-
people that don't know, sorry to cut you off.
No,
for
you're good.
people that don't know too, Ice Nine Kills is big on they write songs based around horror movies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
their whole concept.
So, like-
and so it just works so
So like
great
they
with those.
they had every trick in the book before Silver Scream, and that was based off of like novels and books and writings
Yes.
that were
Yeah.
horror themed. And then Silver Scream 1 and 2 has been based on movies.
Yeah.
But no, I remember like even like a couple years ago after the first one came out, they were already teasing like, oh yeah, every good horror movie has a good sequel too. And I was like, yes, I really need this album to happen.
Yeah.
But they whenever they first announced it, they had like what was it? Hip to Be Scared.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
yeah, we're not talking about the song, but
The weakest song on that one.
yeah, I agree. But
yeah, bottom.
it's whenever that came out, they had like had the pre-orders and everything up for it, and this is like one of my favorite things about it because I was right. No, they did. I'm
Way to be
explaining.
humble.
I know, right? I'm explaining it. Like they had released the track list, but it was like question marks over everything. But they put featured artists beside
Right.
the tracks that did. Which Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King was on it. which-
Amen.
Fantastic song, The Box. Oh my. But no, then they were like, oh yeah, and in this song we got Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
And I was like, because we had made a list of like horror movies they hadn't done
Yeah,
yet, and
yeah.
like which ones they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And they had said Cannibal Corpse was on a song. I'm like, okay, so this is either gonna be like a Saw sequel, which they're not gonna do,
Yeah.
or this is gonna be My Bloody Valentine because of how violent the movie is.
Yeah.
Take your pick gets announced. I'm like, yes, I told you. It
I was
My Bloody
right.
Valentine. But no, they got that. Then Funeral Derangements is like
One of the
So-
coolest
of a song.
breakdowns.
Yeah.
It's like
ever.
it's almost got this like black metal thing to it,
Yeah.
and I love it. The breakdown is fantastic. Assault and Batteries is one of the most fun songs.
Assault
Yeah.
Batteries, honestly, this is debatable, but it's for me personally, it's my favorite breakdown. That they've
Oh,
ever written.
I give you that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That seems like it would be ridiculously fun live.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
But like, and then you got the shower scene, which is like one of the catchiest choruses
Yeah, it
they've
is.
got.
Yeah, it is.
No,
It's so good.
It's so good.
So for me, like I said, this is also my number 4. I think A Rash Decision is
It's great.
top 3 song on this album.
There is not a wrong answer to what you're about to say.
Well, yeah. So yeah, there's not a wrong answer. My least favorite song is Ex Mortis still, and it's just awkward to me. You know, the chorus is a little weird. That's my only complaint on the album.
Yeah.
For me, it just doesn't click with me. What I really like about this album versus the first one that they released was these movies are a little lesser known horror movies.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
like the first one you had your Halloween, your Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th,
The
all
like
that
top
stuff.
tier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your top, and then like on this album you have like Chucky or
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Child's
Yeah.
Play. Yeah.
That's
That
like
was
the most
probably the
popular.
most, yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
the most popular movie on out
Yeah.
of these. So I really like that. I'm not a horror movie person. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. These guys
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
So not knowing what the movies are about, the songs are really good at luring me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because of I know this movie. I like this movie. The song's based on the movie.
Just because the
Just because the
good.
song is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
a great point.
So, to your point, don't go watch Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. No.
The remake,
I-
at least, it's
We've talked about this before. I know
No,
not.
no,
what
the
the
remake for
watch.
Pet Cemetery is trash.
No, apparently not even the original. Whenever
Yeah.
we went to go see the remake with Mom, I was like, that movie was bad. That was honestly bad. And she's like, yeah, I didn't like the original one either. Why did we go watch this then?
It was her idea.
But yeah, I think my favorite song on the album is "The Box" with Brandon Tyler and Ryan Kirby.
It's good.
Um,
Yeah. All good songs. There's
Yeah.
no wrong answer.
No, there's
I would
really not.
I would say "Hip to Be Scared" would be a wrong answer for your favorite. It's not a bad song. It's just the
Opening
weakest
Night
song.
is my favorite song.
Well,
I think what was most disappointing with Hip to Be Scared is like Jacoby Shaddix wasn't in it like we thought he was.
He had like
He had two
4
speaking
words.
lines.
No, yeah, he had 2 speaking lines and like 4 words of actual singing. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
It's
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
but
But the song as a whole. But either way, the
Yeah.
album is freaking nuts. And yeah, before I even get into my number 4, I do have a metal album on my list, and we'll get to it in a second. But saying that, I feel like I had to set it up before I said my number 4 because it once again not a metal
vastly
album.
different.
But my number 4 was Scaled and Icy by 21 Pilots.
Okay.
Realize that pain is just a middleman. I know it's over.
I thought that was one of their, for me, it's a very similar thing. It's not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite 21 Pilots album, but it is my favorite 21 Pilots album lyrically. I think that that was one that it was initially, I think we talked about it the first time that album came out, that the first listen through, I was like, it's pretty good, but then like didn't think anything about it. But it was one of those, the more that I sat on it, the more it was like, oh my gosh, like this is actually really, really, really good. And it just really powerful. 21 Pilots has always done a great job of creatively talking about like mental health and like different aspects within their songs. But specifically this album, it was just so many different things. The way that like Redecorate, the way that song's structured, and the way that the lyrics are amplified. But then you have just their really fun songs like Saturday and stuff like that. It's just like, oh my gosh, this so good. It's such a great album.
Yeah.
So that was my number 4.
Yeah, for sure. I think No Chances and Redecorate are the 2 best songs.
Oh
on the
gosh,
album. And
so
that's how they close the album. Is
Yeah.
with those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's personally, it's not as strong as Blurry Face or Vessel was.
Yeah.
But I think it was
Vessel's
considerably
my
better.
favorite for sure.
This was considerably better to me than Trench.
Yeah.
Trench was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I still like Trench a lot
Yeah,
too.
yeah, no.
It goes to show how consistent they
Yeah.
are at putting out really good music. So
I don't really have an input on this one. I listened to it once, and
I've listened
No,
to
I
it a couple
didn't
times.
It's
yeah.
like I didn't hate it, but kind of like you had said, you weren't 100% feeling it the first time. I just never went back.
Right.
I get
to
that.
it.
I get that. Yeah,
It-
but
it's-
I know Saturday.
It's
but
one of
that's
those.
on the radio.
It's one of those albums, and to where it's like, it's a lot more poppy than some of their other stuff has been.
which is probably why I like it.
Yeah, which is why you like it, and we're not as
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
on it.
no, I feel that.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, it's solid. Every time I listen to Redecorate, I have to like contemplate things I'm doing in my life. It's such a good song, but I mean, just a solid album altogether. But number 3, let's kick it off,
All right,
Chief.
my number 3. I'm gonna sit on this one for like a really long time. All right.
All right.
My number 3 is Lost in the Waves, Landmarks.
Fucking breath, I'm so fucking up.
Yeah, no, we done talked about it, but yeah, it's just fantastic. I just liked it more than Aaron.
that's fine. So number
Number 3.
3 for me. I'm gonna get off the metal train for just a minute. Just a minute.
Oh no.
NF.
Yeah.
Clouds.
Yeah, come on,
mixtape.
Chief.
Yeah.
You know me. I always advance. Say how I fail, you know I stand. Raising the bar, I gotta expand. Top of the charts, I'm setting up camp.
NF has a habit, or not a habit, it's a fact. Everything he's gonna release is gonna be better than the last
Yeah,
thing he
but
released.
you think, oh, he's reached his ceiling, and then it's the next
No.
thing he releases, bam, everything punches you in the
Yeah.
face.
No,
Like-
and then this one was like, oh, he just released an album that was his best album
It's-
to date.
yeah.
This is a mixtape. It'll still be good. It's better than the album.
There's even a lyric on one of the songs where he's just like, "This was a mixtape that I threw all the songs together." Just what he like saying it. He's just like, "This isn't even the album. The album's coming." It's like, this isn't even the album. It's the best thing you've
Right.
released.
Yeah, so like, there's not a bad song.
No,
on this
no,
album at
literally
all.
no.
At all. So
There's not even one that's subpar.
no, my favorite song is Trust featuring Tech Nine.
It's great.
Amen. Amen.
It's fantastic, but like the soul you feel in like Story.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, changed everything.
And even in the music video of just watching it, like I thought I was just in a theater watching it for
Right.
the first time. Just
Yeah.
like, what is going on? But even just some of his phrases and some of the songs, like in That's a Joke, he says it's like looking at Mount Everest and calling it a small hill.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
What?
he gets
What did
super
you just say?
creative. Yeah, he gets super
Um,
creative.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I've actually recently I've been watching some people online reacting to NF for the first time. and there's people who are like jumping out of their seats, and like there was a guy who was watching the music video for Story, and literally like got like down on his knees like with his chair behind him, just watching it.
Yeah.
From like how.
It's
He's
3 minute
powerful.
video.
How was
in 3
Yeah.
minutes he can
in
do
3
that.
minutes?
Yeah.
People were just like, I don't know what I just listened to or watched.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
and he's done that all the time.
Right.
No, and it's so cool, like he's saying, watching the reaction videos of people just now listening to him. It's
Yeah.
like, at least for you and me, we started listening to him whenever he dropped Mansion.
Yeah, way back in the
And
day.
it's like, oh, this dude's so good, and now he's like getting radio play. It's like literally seeing his growth, and
It's
then
incredible.
It's so awesome to see people getting
Yeah.
on board with him.
Yeah, and it's not even one of those of like, oh, we listened to him before. You guys are fake fan bandwagon. It's like it's
No.
this dude deserves the recognition
Yeah.
that he's getting, and
Exactly.
it's so cool.
Plus,
Can we talk? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was about to say, can we talk about how the heck he got in contact with Tech Nine and Hobson to be on a mixtape?
Freaking
Right.
Lost with Hobson is one of
Yeah,
the best.
it's-
One of the best freaking songs.
I
in the
think
world.
Clouds is the worst song on the album.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's still
no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's up there. So we're
Number
number three. Okay, you got off the metal train. I'm getting on it. My number 3. Every time I've listened to this album, it goes up, and so I had to prevent myself from stopping listening to it because it just keeps going up. But my number 3 is Eternal Blue by Spirit Box. It is 100%, my opinion, the best metal album of the year, and it's just every time I listen to it, it just kept going up my list of just how solid of an album it was. So, just talking about that, like Spirit Box has been one of those. They've been, I mean, just becoming the biggest thing in the metal scene right now. And they're incredible. I never listened to Courtney's band like back in the day. I Wrestled a Bear once, or that was
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I didn't really listen to that much, but as I think it was right before Holy Roller released. I think it was like Rule of Nines or something. I listened to it on something, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this band's really good. And then shortly after Holy Roller released, which freaking exploded on everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, this band is freaking incredible. And then they dropped this whole gem of a project, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever listened to.
Yeah, it's higher on my list actually. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Circle with Me is
Nuts.
That's
dude.
that's the best song.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
the-
it. I
it's
love it so
incredible.
much.
That's the best song on the album.
We talked about
I
it.
agree. I agree.
We talked about it on an episode way like back a couple months
Yeah.
ago, and I was kind of in between. I didn't know like what my favorite song was yet, but I knew it was gonna make my list.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, for me, I don't think they could have picked a better intro than Sun Killer. I thought
Right.
Sun Killer. It's between Sun Killer and Silk and the Strings are my two favorites. Like such strong like. I can just imagine them playing those live
Yeah.
of like how crazy it would be. And then even I loved how they did a song like We Live in a Strange World, like how different of a song that is for
Right.
them. But they pull it off really well of mixing like these really cool like alternative pop stuff, then pulling in all the like metal stuff to it. It just literally one of the best
It
songs.
like hits every end of the spectrum of like
Of
metalcore.
metal.
Yeah, all 100%.
Yeah.
And they pull it all off
Yeah.
so well.
And I love how some Sun Killer flows straight into Hurt You.
Oh.
Also flows straight
Those
into
first
Yellow
3,
Jacket.
it's just like, can they all just be one song? And I say
Yeah.
that's my favorite song.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, such a great album. That was number 3s. All right,
Number 2.
number 2s.
I cheated for number 2.
Uh-oh.
All right. So like
Is it a deluxe edition?
No.
Okay. I was
no.
like-
It's not like an old album that's no.
Taylor
So-
Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, the Taylor's version. No. So like I only cheated with this. I'll be more specific if I gotta be. But like literally everything that Magnolia Park released this year. They released the album Halloween playlist, but then there was an EP called Dream Eater EP where half that was on this album.
Yeah.
They released 2009 single where they had a song from that on this album. There's like maybe 4 songs between the other
I'm
two
trying
that
to, yeah.
aren't on it.
So,
being said-
Magnolia Park's 2021 releases.
Everything.
All of it.
And
all
one
of
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Like these guys are the difference between what I'm saying is like found them on TikTok and then a TikTok band.
Yeah.
Like they are their main promotion, at least from what I've seen, is like TikTok. They're
Yeah.
heavy promoting it on there.
Yeah.
But I found them like later last year whenever they released Sick of It All as a single.
Mm-hmm.
They can mix like every era of pop punk. Like
Uh-huh.
back in the day to like skater pop punk to like modern pop punk and emo
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They can mix that and hip hop so well together. It's like it's so flawless. And then like 10 for 10 off of this,
Yeah.
100% my favorite song of the year.
Yeah.
Like every part of it is catchy, and it's got like 4 different styles within the song
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. Number 2, Aaron, what you got?
Number 2, Silent Planet Iridescent. This album, like there's Garrett's lyrics are just something else.
So
yeah.
articulate.
Like,
and just,
and I'm not gonna say they all hit close to home because they don't. But like some of like his lines are just like, wow, that's some things that I've thought before.
yeah.
Or some.
And
some
you
hurt
you
that I've
would
had.
have never thought somebody else
Right.
has thought
Yeah.
that before.
But and the way he makes it fit into this style of music, like he's like this dude, he's a poet.
Yeah. Oh,
Behind-
100%.
Like if he could make this work even if he didn't have a band behind them.
Right,
Like
yeah.
he could like honestly he could probably scream the same lyrics. He's doing it the same way he does it in the songs without a band, and it still get over.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I,
Solid album.
Not
Like
yeah.
that. The only reason that didn't make it that high on my list is like, and this was a good thing. Like every one of these songs worked. I keep on saying it sounds like negative things, and it's really not.
yeah.
But like this is like instrumentally wise, it's like their simplest, I guess, instrumentally for their albums. So like that one, it kind of knocked it back a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrically, it's one of the strongest because
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so much more personal than any of the other 3 albums.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
But like the lyrics didn't hold it up enough compared to the
I get that.
instrumental stuff
Yeah.
to get it enough to get in my top 10.
Yeah. Kind of gave away my number 2 a second ago, but mine was Clouds mixtape by NF.
So back up again and train your brain to not be such a pessimist. It's okay to make mistakes, just don't forget that there's a high road, but I skip the exit when I'm lost.
Just we've already gone through it. NF's a freaking madman and a genius that no one will ever deserve. So it's incredible. All right, so now
Time to fight.
it's come down to the number ones
All right, me
of
and Aaron.
2021. Tyler, what is your number one?
Me and Aaron have been fighting about this for so long.
Let's get it.
Every time he brings it up, we fight about it. My number 1 album for this year is Manic by Wage War.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. I freaking hate you.
No.
He texted me the other day. He was like, hey dude, so just so you know, Chase Atlantic's nowhere close to my number 1.
Wow.
Chase Atlantic's like number 8.
Bro, okay, look. Just for context before he talks about this album. We have fought literally for the past 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Over Chase, because I thought Chase Atlantic was his number 1 album.
He's been saying
Which,
it's his number 1.
look, I like Chase Atlantic's album. It is good. I have 13 albums that are ahead of it on my list right now. Good play. Look, you had me frustrated for the last 6 months of
I
like,
got you.
this
I'm so-
album isn't that good. Like,
No.
it's a good album, but it is not this good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
You're relieved you have it off your chest. Okay.
But yeah, Manic, Wage War.
Yes. Now we're into
No, every song makes me want to go throw punch somebody.
Freaking High Horse makes me want to just freaking.
It-
I mean,
In the best way possible, it sounds like Corey Taylor wrote it.
right?
Yeah.
It makes me. I listen to that song and I feel like I could go to the mountains of Virginia and wrestle a grizzly bear.
Oh, yeah.
and win the fight.
You free open
Which
up with
would not be a great idea.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Are there even grizzly bear in Virginia? That don't matter.
I don't know what bears we have. I just see a bear, I run. No, like yeah, you got it. Opening with Relapse, and like the first time I listened to this, I'm like, okay, I've listened to Wage War before. They're pretty good. Relapse starts. I'm like, okay, all right, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Then Teeth happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really like. We go all the way down. And I'm like, I'm listening to this again.
Yeah.
I literally listened to this album 6 times in a row the day it came out. It's so
It's-
good.
oh my God.
You got like freaking, yeah, like I said, Relapse is already making you want to just throw down in a mosh pit. Manic, as different as it is,
It's
for
amazing.
Wage War.
It's amazing.
And it pulls it off so well, like with the electronical elements.
Yeah.
You got Circle the Drain, which is arguably my favorite.
And they just released an acoustic version
yeah,
of it too.
that's
it's
really good. I did like that. But Circle the Drain has one of the catchiest choruses
Yep.
I've ever heard. You got Death Roll.
Oh my gosh.
Death
Sounds
Roll
like-
is the best song on this album.
It
too.
sounds like,
Like-
an old school thrash metal
like
song.
Slayer or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's
Oh!
so good.
It was so good. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Literally every song is a 10 out of 10. From like the heaviest song to their softest song, which even then isn't that soft of a song.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting that to be your number one, but it's a great.
I definitely was.
Yeah.
Since we played this off for so long.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, what's your number one for this?
We had already talked about it. Number one for me is Eternal Blue by Spirit Box.
Come on.
You know,
Secret garden, disregard my heart.
either their first or second album, whichever one it is. Fantastic.
Yeah.
For the album that is
For-
making them known. Like
Yeah.
really known.
Yeah.
They're great, man.
Like I think they even got like number one in like rock, like one of the magazines.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
for,
that
like,
number
album of the
one for a while, and then this was the coolest statistic ever. They got like number one in vinyl sales for this year, which
Yeah,
is a very like,
something like that,
off the kind of what you would think. But I mean, it's
I
really
was
cool.
one of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
they're freaking incredible, dude. And just the hit on this last point. I'll stop talking about Spirit Box, but how tight of musicians to watch like live footage of them perform. Like how incredible, like especially their drummer, like how smooth he is when he plays and little things like that. And then Courtney's husband that plays guitar is just freaking, they're nuts. They're incredible.
And you just think of like with how good Courtney sounds too. Like her technique is even better.
Oh yeah,
Because
she
you
doesn't.
know, most
she doesn't
people will
cut the
cuff
mic.
or-
She's like got the mic back here, and
Yeah,
you can still
and-
hear
yeah.
like freaking belting
So.
it. And she's a solid screamer and singer. Like
Yeah.
you just, it.
Incredible.
Spirit Box is amazing. So yeah, incredible album. So my number one, you can probably guess it. Do you want to say my number one for me?
The band.
The band Camino. Let me tell you about the band Camino.
It's too bad. When did it get cool to be so sad? We're spinning backwards, did we all?
Band Camino is one of the best bands that I've heard in such a long time because they mesh like alternative rock and pop and do all this stuff, which if you know me even slightly well enough, I love metal music. I literally love all genres of music, but one of my favorite things is alternative rock and pop like being meshed well together if you can do it well, and the band Camino does an incredible job. Like you talk about the Try Hard EP and all this other stuff. They're just nuts. But this album in particular, I think this is their technical like first full release album and everything, and they hit it on the head. Like the way that they talk about relationships and stuff in songs and how they just creatively just mesh everything. I just can't talk about it in words. We'll have previews playing before all these albums and stuff of what they sound like. But I mean, just nuts. And then I think, hands down, we disagree on this, but I think Who Do You Think You Are is one of the best songs of this year ever written. And it's just one of their best songs altogether.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
I really love this album too. This was number 10 for me. This just barely was not in the contention of being anywhere on the list.
Yep.
But it was easily number 10 for
Yeah.
me, I think.
It was one that we were able to collectively get hype about. To
you know,
very
I
similar
think
extent.
me and you still like it a lot better than Tyler does
See,
as
that
well.
that's the thing though, is like I didn't. He was heavy trying to get me to listen to the Try Hard EP and never really did. But whenever this came out, it was like y'all two and then a couple other people that we knew, all were just nonstop talking about this album. So like in one, which this was funny, in a weekend trip that we were taking, I was like, this is gonna be a long drive. I'm gonna throw some albums on. I
That I
haven't
haven't
listened
heard.
to yet.
Yeah.
So it was like literally in order was Neverland 2, Eternal Blue, Band Camino. And I was like,
Wow, that's not different at all.
I know, right? But not like if it's even then, I loved what I was hearing. Like after I listened to that album, I was like, okay, I'll actually go listen to Try Hard EP now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not bad. It made my top 20. That's the best I can
No,
give you.
and it's great. And they do an incredible job of just how, like I said, how different they get with each song, but it still flows all the way together. You have some like Just a Phase is such a powerful, like it could punch you in the mouth hearing them perform that live and everything. But solid. But then also it's one of those that whenever I listen to it all the way through again, there's elements about different songs that stand out to me. So like get the last song, is it Get It Your Way? Is it?
Yeah, Get It Your Way.
Get It Your Way is one of those that first listen through, I'm like, I had just come off the high of like Just a Phase and Who Do You Think You Are and all that. I'm so focused on those that it just kind of got brushed to the wayside. And then I remember going on a drive to Charlotte or something, and I was by myself, and I heard Get It Your Way again, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is such a solid song. So just incredible. There's not a song on the album that falls short at all. It's just so good.
I really like the way they blend like guitars with the pop elements that they have.
Oh yeah.
Like some of their songs are like super like synth pop songs. But some of them are like really guitar driven too.
Yeah.
As a guitar player, like I'm drawn to that like, a little
100%.
So like I really like Know It All. Like I think that's my favorite song on the album.
So good.
But also I really like Sorry Mom, where it's just him and the acoustic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Through the whole thing.
Really cut back.
Really cut back, and like even his skills of, like I watched the music video. He plays that on guitar and sings at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you making like? I'll always respect people like that. And,
Yeah.
and Ed Sheeran, who can like do stupid stuff on an acoustic guitar while singing.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even do that on a guitar without singing.
Yeah.
So like
To
you
imagine.
just get respect from me from that.
Yeah. And me and my wife Carly, we were talking about it too, which is another element to why I think I like the band Camino so much. Is it's always great whenever, like even for us, whenever we connect on an album, it's great to appreciate an album with other people, and especially for me and Carly, the band Camino is one of those that her and I, when we started dating, whenever we were friends before and stuff like that, and even to now, we connect so well with the band Camino, and they're a band that we can share together, and I think that adds an extra element to it. But something we talk about with it too is this album just came out this year, but there's parts of it that just feel nostalgic, that just feel like this album's been out for 20 years and I resonate with it you just can't describe it in words. And so it's so freaking incredible. That's our top 5 albums of the year. Tyler, run back through just quick overview. What was your top 5?
Number 5 was Self-Titled by Era. Number 4, Welcome to Horrorwood, Ice Nine Kills. Number 3, Lost in the Waves, Landmarks. Number 2, Halloween Playlist, or technically everything, by Magnolia Park. And number 1, Manic by Wade Forrest.
Boom, come on. 2021, solid. Aaron, what you got?
Number 5, Lost in the Waves, Landmarks. Number 4, Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood. Number 3, NF, Clouds. Number 2, Silent Planet, Iridescent. Number 1, Spirit Box, Eternal.
Come on, solid. And then mine was, number 5 was Neverland 2 by Andy Mineo. Number 4 was Scaled and Icy by 21 Pilots. Number 3 was Eternal Blue by Spirit Box. Number 2 was Clouds by NF. And then number 1 was the band Camino's self-titled album. Bam! 2021, solid year of music. Solid year. We appreciate you if you've taken the time to watch us on your Christmas day. Man, God bless you. We appreciate that. But then also, if you're watching this at a later time, man, we hope that you are able to find some new music maybe off of this. But then also, hey, post your top 5. What were your top 5 favorite albums of this year? And we'll be sure after you watch this, you can go and look in the description. We'll post links of our like top 10 or top 20 favorite albums from this year to where you can access it on iTunes or Spotify, whatever you use, all that good stuff. And you can go check those things out there. But we'll see you next time. God bless you. See you in 2022.